Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the 143. We are coming at you live with episode 168.
Yep, the baseball season is officially underway. 162 games of the long season, and we're here and we're ready for it. We've already been through almost a week of it, and it has been ups and downs.
Yeah, you never want to overreact to the first few games of the season, but it's hard to do as true baseball fans. Watching each game, just, living and dying with each pitch is kind of what we do. We made it a goal this year to talk more about baseball because, there's not a ton going on in football right now. And hockey is kind of just getting towards the end of the season. So I'm sure we'll ramp up some talk more about that towards playoff time. But really right now, baseball is what's going on, and it's taking the world by storm, as it should. So it's good to have baseball back. We're going to dive into some prevalent topics there, but let's start it off with the stat of the week, brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. Stat of the week is, in 1995, Tony Gwynn had 15 strikeouts and 585 at-bats. 15 and 585 at-bats. That's pretty impressive. In 2025, Rafael Devers had 15 strikeouts and 19 at-bats. 19. So he tied my boy Tony Gwynn in 19 games. Rafael Devers just looked awful in the first series of the season.
Yeah, he has secured himself a seat on the struggle bus. Tony Gwynn, obviously notorious for not striking out a ton. And then, that's kind of the complaint that a lot of the old retired players have about today's game and era of baseball, is that there's just so many strikeouts. You saw Chipper Jones speak out against it a little bit over the last couple of days. But, yeah, Rafael Devers, he came out absolutely ice cold in that first series against the Rangers and just could not buy a hit to save his life. He looked late on everything. They were even comparing his swing from this year and last year, and it looked like he was starting in an even more open stance than he was last year, where his foot is like 2 feet behind him, and so he just couldn't get his foot down in time, and he was just late on everything, and he was just swinging and missing. But, he's got a lot to figure out. Your player of the week is Nathan Eovaldi, who pitched tonight for the Rangers, tonight as in Tuesday night against the Cincinnati Reds, pitched a complete game shutout, 99 pitches.
Thank goodness.
Complete games are not a thing you see very often anymore. Teams like to stretch their starters 6 innings, maybe 7 innings if you're lucky.
Especially under 100 pitches. That's impressive.
Yes.
At that 99 mark.
Absolutely.
To finish the game.
Rangers only scored 1 run, so if we were going to win, it was going to be via shutout, and that's exactly what we got. Underwhelming offensively, but, you love to see your starting pitcher up there shoving. So Nathan Eovaldi's looking like his ace self, as to be expected.
Yep.
But, I guess with that, we can just go ahead and dive into the content. The biggest issue in baseball right now is the Torpedo bats. I wouldn't say taking the league by storm just yet, but the Yankees busted them out and put a whooping on Milwaukee. I want to say in that game where they put up 20 runs, I believe they had 9 home runs. Against Milwaukee. So the idea of the Torpedo bat is it puts all of the mass of the barrel essentially on the sweet spot. So you have the handle It goes up to the skinny part, then it gets really, really fat in the middle of the barrel, and then it just goes back to regular size. And, there's a lot of complaints going on about it because it's the Yankees. I do not think there is an actual rule/regulation right now that makes it illegal. The only reason people are complaining is because it's the Yankees. But the other thing, too, is all the rest of these teams can do that. Anybody in the
Yeah.
league can use that torpedo bat if they want, but people are just complaining because it's the Yankees.
Basically, basically like normal baseball bats, if you think about it, like they funnel out, they start skinny and then funnel out and eventually just keep funneling to the top. With the torpedo bats, they funnel out a little earlier and then they funnel back in towards the top. And so they move, what they're saying is they move the logo to the top of the bat, essentially taking the wood where the logo was, putting it in the sweet spot, and then just widening that sweet spot a little bit. So the reason it's not against the rules is because the bat weighs the same. The weight is just in a little bit different of a spot. And I mean, we've seen a few different examples, and I can't think of all of them, of people using the torpedo bats so far this season, having really good success with it. But yeah, the Yankees 20-9 win over Milwaukee was the thing that kind of brought it into light. And also, like, when the Yankees do something like that and put 20 up, like, everyone's going to freak out. They're a big market team. They're probably the biggest market team in baseball. They're one of the biggest franchises in sports. So they do draw that kind of attention. And so, the baseball world is kind of in an uproar right now over, you got some people saying they should be banned, but it's not against the rules right now. It definitely could be at some point. But in my opinion, and I think in Nick's opinion as well, I'm wondering why the Rangers haven't bulk ordered like 1,000 of these to be shipped to the clubhouse, overnight, so we can start using them, because we clearly need some help right now hitting. I mean, I don't know why every team hasn't gotten torpedo bats at this point since they're legal.
I think it's just so new that everyone's kind of wary of the situation.
Yeah.
Monday night, Cincinnati put it to us 14-3. Ellie De La Cruz was busting out the torpedo bat, and he went 4 for 5, 2 bombs on us. So I mean, there you go.
Just get
that
more
was
pop.
prime example of the torpedo bat going up against us. I'd be interested to see the Rangers use it. I'd obviously, there's no rule against it right now, but I don't know. I think there might be something, again, maybe not outlawing it, but just kind of putting a different regulation on it, just controlling it in some way. I'm not sure though.
I'm kind of disappointed in the league for not getting out ahead of this. Like, are they just shocked that this is even, like, shouldn't they be aware of stuff like this coming out? But also, it's not like it's not available to every team. So teams really can't be crying about it right now just because, like, they have as much access to it as the Yankees do. We've, like Nick's saying, the Ellie De La Cruz, like, players around the league are starting to use them. Some Rangers players are reportedly interested in picking them up. But I mean, the thing is, they get more pop if you hit the ball square, sure. But that requires you to still, I mean, it's not like it gives you an unfair advantage of hitting the ball itself.
Yeah,
like,
you still have to be able to make contact.
And make good contact. Like, I mean, now if you don't hit the sweet spot of the bat, the ball is definitely not going to the ball be affected by it, but like it was before. So, I mean, I don't feel a certain way about it as much as I'm like, we need to get on top of this as well and kind of get in on it if it's allowed. Now, I don't know if the league will ban it during the season.
I think it will definitely be something that's assessed this off season. Yeah. I don't know that they're going to do anything about it right now, but
do you go into playoffs allowing it?
I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a huge deal, and so I feel like for something like that, that would be something that they have to discuss in the offseason. But I do think, like you said, they should have done a better job getting out ahead of this. There's no way They
Yeah, how they
didn't
just
know
yeah.
what was going on. They should have addressed it at the outset. That way, people can, I don't know, answer some questions that people might have. Um, I wonder also if for hitters it's a feel thing to
Yeah.
where they don't want to use a different bat because they have their baby, if you will, quote
Yeah, it's very
unquote.
routine, very habitual.
Um, it's a pretty superstitious sport, just in the fact that you go through your same routine every single game day, and you go through the same warm ups, do the same things, a lot of time, like dress the same, something like
Yeah.
that, where it's like if a hitter, like it's like wearing batting gloves, you'll see sometimes if Josh Smith, for example, awful hitter for a while when he wasn't wearing batting gloves, had a legacy game a couple years ago. The first time he used batting gloves, and then we've seen him as a batting gloves hitter ever since. And he was
Yep.
lights out last season. So I wonder if it's just players don't want to get out of the routine. But I say BP every now and then, bust out the torpedo bat if they're flying into the
Yeah, work
seats,
it in.
throw it into a game.
Well, I mean, hey, look, if you're Corey Seager or Marcus Simeon right now, you might as well hold a torpedo bat because you can't hit the ball with a regular bat anyway. So you can keep your special bat with you. But, I'd prefer if they'd make a change so they could start contributing to the team since we are contributing financially to them quite a bit of money. But, I'm just a biased Rangers fan at this point. But I'm sure there's a ton of fans looking at their teams like, when are we going to get on this trend and pick up some torpedo bats? Because, I am seeing a lot more. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about a lot more. I'm just looking at the scores. Like, I'm seeing a ton of double-digit scores at the. I mean, we've been through like 6 or 7, days of baseball so far, and I mean, we're seeing, I guess 6, but like we're seeing tons of double-digit scores like every day that these teams are putting up. A lot more offense. It seems like early at the season. Obviously, pitchers got to get in the rhythm. Things have to kind of settle down. But I definitely wonder how fast it's going to be to where you got most of the guys using these torpedo bats by the All-Star break. If this trend keeps up.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking down, seeing the Rangers 1-0 against the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe we got to try something new offensively. Still extremely early in the season. We're not even a week underway. But it's just maybe it's something to think about. Might need to change it up a little bit because our offense is gonna, that was our staple when we were really good a couple years ago, and so I think we know that's gonna be the thing that powers us through. Got Jacob deGrom back, and he pitched a great game a few nights ago. Kumar Rocker absolutely blasted on Monday night. I don't think he's going to last in the starting rotation once we get Cody Bradford back. I think Kumar is going to be the first to go. Still got time to develop, young guy, but we need a firm starting 5 right now.
Also, I mean, you're just not going to be able to. For the most part, if you're only putting up 1 run, you're getting beat. I mean, very rarely are you putting up 1 run and winning a game 1-0. We just luckily tonight had Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, and he had a great game. I mean, and he kept his pitch count low, which kept him in the game the whole game. So, I mean, it just worked out really nice for us. But putting up 1 run, and you got to help your pitcher out. I mean, if he's having a game like that, you can't be just keeping him at a 1-run cushion, 9 shutout innings is tough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, he was shutting down a Reds offense who was red hot because they scored 14 the night before.
Yeah.
Comes out, puts up a goose egg on the scoreboard. So, you got to love to see that.
Yep.
But offensively, let's help our pitcher out, please. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. You're not going to win anything scoring 1 run unless Nasty Nate's on the mound.
But back to the torpedo bat thing, I don't know if the league can come out and ban it at this point just because it would look like they don't want the Yankees to have success. I mean, now that the other teams have them, it's kind of like it's not exactly like the tush push for the NFL, but it is kind of like that mindset of everybody's welcome to do it, and welcome to try it.
What
It's all
should have
equal
happened
opportunity.
was they should have tested him out in spring training, like they did with the balls and strikes system, the
Yep.
automated balls and strike system. That's what I think they should have done with the torpedo bats. Is
Yeah.
busted it out in spring training, and then through that they could have assessed, okay, are we going to allow these? Are we going to ban them? How are we going to regulate them? How are we going to make it fair for all the teams? Whatever. But, that's just on the league for not getting out ahead of it at the beginning of the season. So I guess we'll just have to wait till this offseason because I'm not sure they'll do anything major in the middle of the season.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, they definitely can't just like come out a week into the season and ban it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep everyone updated. We'll follow the situation very closely. It'll be interesting to see. But bottom line is, Rangers got to get the offense going. I don't really care how, but we just got to get some more runs on the board.
Well, here's like to end our shows on Under Review. I've brought you a quote from the Frank Robinson, and he said, "Close doesn't count in baseball. Close only counts in horseshoes and grenades."
Ain't that the truth? So we're gonna try not to keep it as close as we did tonight, 1-0. But happy to get the win. Congrats to Nasty Nate for getting the complete game shutout, Maddox style, under 100 pitches. And we thank y'all for tuning in this week. We see you next week with another episode of Under Review.